We fight to go up on a position and go down in moral. We always want more rights, and we never fight for obligations, duties. When there is elections, rights, more rights, more rights. But nobody said more duties, more responsibilities. Never. Never. Not in this country, in all countries. If you say, I want more rights, I want more rights, and say, I assume I want to have more responsibilities toward my country, my society. Never. More and time, there is more entertainment and less family. And worse, we have many religions, and each time we have less God in our lives. And my question is, are we infected with the virus? Why do we live in paradoxes? This is the society, but the society is my religion, my believings. Matthew chapter 5 says, chapter 5 verse 13 and 14, Jesus says, you are rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven, for the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. You are the salt of earth, and you are the light of the world. And if we have the light, if we are the light, or how can we light the way of the others if we don't have the light? It's a paradox, because we have, Jesus said, we are the light of the world. We have the light because we have Jesus. We carry, but we don't light the way of my neighborhood, of my friends. Why? Because we are dark. Our life is dark. The other day I saw a sentence. It was not mine. It was a beautiful sentence. What if we suddenly, everyone remembers that there is anger and misery in the world? I said, what? This sentence is not mine. What if we say, if we suddenly, everyone remember that there is anger, hunger, and misery in the world? I write, what if we suddenly receive a message from the Lord, not from the pastor, from the elder, not from a church member, and say a message saying, so, because you are lukewarm, neither hot, neither cold, I am about to speak you about of my mouth. What about if we receive a message directly from the Lord? If we suddenly receive a message in our phones from the Lord, and you don't have to receive it because it's written in Revelation. In 1 Corinthians, it says, chapter 6, verse 20 says, you were bought at a price. we were bought with a big price. And First Timothy says, what sort of situation that the Lord gave Himself to save us? This doesn't make sense. How can? Probably all of you know that I like music, but I'm not a good musician. I like to make noise, I have the guitars, I record, and so on. And I like music. But I'm not a really artist. I'm not like Corey or Solomon. They play very well. And it sings very well. I'm not. I just like. And I like the music. I like the music. But I like the lyrics. Because music is very nice. Can be bad. But I love the lyrics. One day I was listening a song of a Christian, and I got in love of that lyrics. I have translated into English, and the words of that song, it says, the title is I Bought a Church. It doesn't buy a building. You will understand. I bought a church. And the lyrics are these. Some time ago, I bought a church. For the price of blood and pain. Some time ago, I sent my son to redeem what was lost. I bought a church with blood and pain. And for some time, I'm waiting for the humble worshipper to accept and be part of my church. I bought a church with blood and pain. I'm expecting for someone that comes to bows before my presence, not before an offer of a good position. For some time, I'm waiting for my church to show the world the right image of Lord and love. I want my church not to be confused between so many, because the great is the I am. The church I bought should not divide us often, entering in quarrels and discussions. Seeking to achieve is better than another, because the universe is the great is I am. I want my church to live in my glory and look for the union and live in my light. I want a church where there is no colors or nations or countries, of wars or fights nor positions. I want a church that heals the wounded, that breaks the chains to free the captive, to clarify the mind of those who are confused, to speak and preach the truth. I want a church that shows hope to anguished soul. I want a church that heals the wounds of this humanity. I want a herd where my sheep feel safe and full of peace, where my word is full, so there have life. I want a church that sings the praise, but the scent be the scent of my throne. A church that knows the difference between the good and the evil. A church that feels that was forgiven and also taken this forgiveness to those that suffer. I want a church that lifts the fallen and feed those who are suffering hunger. I want my church that I bought with blood of my son and pain. I want my church full of compassion, ready to show me. I want my church ready to contemplate the redemption. I want the church that I bought with pain and love.
Amen.
I would like to have written this one. This is the lyrics of a song of a man that understands what the church is. I want an humble church. I want to be part of that church. I'd like to tell you a story of a real story of a one-person church. In Luke 5, Luke chapter 5, verse 12 and 13. And it says, while Jesus was in one of the towns, a man came along who was covered with leprosy. When he saw Jesus, he fell with his face to the ground and begged him, Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Jesus reached out his hand and touched that man. And the Lord says, I am willing, be clean. Have you heard of Raoul Follereau? This name probably is not very well. Raoul Follereau was a brilliant young French journalist that visited Africa once. At the stop in a village, he saw some faces, some people inside of a fence. And he asked to the guy, they said, who are those people? And the guide said, they are lepers. Lepers? And why? Why are they inside of a fence? Oh, because they are lepers. I understand. But are they assisted? Do they have medicine? Are they fed? Do we have food? Someone takes food to them. And the guy said, I don't know. I don't care. According to Raoul Follereau, he said that was a double crime. Not only they had leprosy, they were lepers, and nobody could take care of them. And Raoul Follereau, a young man, decided to remain there to help them. What I'm going to read is part of his book he wrote of his experience there. And he said, I saw half of a dozen lepers and thought to remain there to help them, to treat them, to take back to the conviviality of the people, to take them bread, food, treatment, give them the lost dignity, to give them hope, to give them Jesus Christ. That's what he decided. After a while, we realized that there were not half a dozen of lepers. He said there were millions of lepers. Lepers in Africa, lepers in Asia, and all of them without care, without spiritual comfort, without assistance, help, without salvation. And this is a paradox. With so many religions, all of them didn't have any hope. Raoul Follereau said, We are not on the Old Testament. We are not the time of Jesus Christ. We are on the 20th century. It was last century. We are not thinking of the time of the Old Testament. We are here, 20th century. And he said, "Whom does not believe me, come here." I'm not lying to you. If you want to see what's happening in the 20th century, the great paradox of this society, come here. And he said, "I saw lepers with the skin full of sores, filled of flies, infected, full of bugs. I saw the dead in alive people. I saw the pain, I saw despair." And he said, "From Africa I went to Asia, and I saw some others, the same situation. One day," he said, he wrote, "one day I saw a young girl dying of leprosy. And she was about 20, 22 years old. And when she died, I had the curiosity to weigh her. And she weighed about 20 kilos. But a 20, 22 years girl doesn't weigh 20 kilos. And he said, that person, that woman, that girl didn't die of leprosy. She died of hunger." Where are the Christians, he asks. Where are they? And he got shocked when he present this drama. When sometimes you go to France and present to his friends and to other people. And he said, "My friends, that's a drama there. We need your help." You know what they said? "Well, these things happen. We cannot change the world. It's impossible to change the world," the friend said. And he said, "Impossible? What is impossible for you if when you fill your stomach with food, you go to and you can sleep in peace? Can you sleep in peace when you fill your stomach with food, thinking of those that have nothing? What is impossible is when I cannot sleep in peace knowing that a woman and a man of 20, 25, 30s and weighs 20 kilos only." One day, he said, "One day I visited a village and I gave them some rice. Immediately they asked me for a shovel and a hoe." How do you say? H-O-E? Hoe. Okay, and a shovel. He thought they needed to put the rice and to have more and to have cultures and crops and so on and so on. And he said, "No, for that. I needed to open graves for our dead because we don't have that instruments. We have to dig with our hands. But our hands are so sore. Please give us shovels and hoe." And he said, "At that time I felt ashamed of myself. I want to scream, and I had no voice. I felt so selfish. How is it possible that we spend money in useless things and gadgets and things we don't really, and someone is begging for a shovel because they don't have to dig the dirt to bury the dead people?" Roll follow roll. Didn't get much results among his friends. Son. And he made a request to the people, to the children, to all of those with good hearts. And he said, if you have something, send it to my house, and I'll take to those people who have nothing. And he says he lost the count. So many things that answer, especially children. They gave a lot. But he remembers one humble, very humble man that one day at night knocked at the door and he said, Mr. Follow, for the sake of God, accept this small offering for those who suffer more than I do. Inside of the envelope, there were 3 pounds. About 3 pounds. Usually, who gives 3 pounds doesn't have any more money. They gave everything. And one day, Rolf Follow had an opportunity to address a message in a Catholic church, and he noticed that in a wall there was a crucified Christ. Catholic churches have it. No complaints. It's their church, it's not mine. And he said, Rolf said, pointing to that crucified, and he said, do you think you have Jesus Christ in this church? Do you think you have Jesus with you? Do you think that Jesus lives in this church? If you want to really to meet Jesus Christ, you go to me and meet with the lepers. If you want to meet Jesus, go too close to the person that is in need, the person that is suffering. If you really want to meet Jesus, in your heart, drive your heart in the direction of those that are begging for shovels and wood. Do you want more? He said, Jesus is love, and love helps. Jesus is love, and love helps. The most I give, the most I have. The most I give, the most I receive. Some time ago, I bought a church for the price of blood and pain. Some time ago, I sent my son to redeem what was lost. I bought a church with blood and pain. And for some time, I'm waiting for an humble worshipper to accept to be part of my church. I have these lyrics to give you at the end of the service. May the Lord bless you.